All right. Ready to dive into something pretty interesting?
Always.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Today we're doing a deep dive into sex transmutation.
Okay.
As discussed in this YouTube video by Sherman Rivers. And this is based on Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners have heard of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular chapter on sex transmutation, I feel like sparks a lot of curiosity, maybe even a little controversy.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to try to break it down today.
Yeah, sounds good.
So first of all, what is it? What is sex transmutation, according to this video?
So the video defines it as the process of redirecting your sexual energy to other pursuits.
Okay.
Like creative endeavors or work or personal growth.
So it's not about suppressing or denying your sexuality.
Right. It's not about abstinence. It's about redirecting this very powerful energy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And the video even uses historical examples to illustrate this.
Right.
You know, people like Napoleon, Shakespeare, and Lincoln, they all achieved extraordinary things. And they're presented in this video as examples of this principle in action.
So basically it's saying that this energy can fuel like ambition and focus and, like you said, creative genius.
Exactly. And you know, it's interesting. There's actually some modern research that supports this link between libido and drive.
Oh.
Studies have shown a connection between hormones and things like motivation, risk-taking, and even leadership qualities. So while Hill's ideas might seem a bit unconventional, there could be some biological basis for this.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it gets a little more interesting to me.
Okay.
The video claims that a lot of men don't actually find success until after the age of 40. Often after they learn to harness this energy.
Right.
So there's this idea of like sowing wild oats earlier in life, and then this period of focused growth and achievement later on.
Yeah, it definitely raises some questions.
It does.
Is this biological, societal, or a bit of both? And what about women? How does this relate to women's experiences?
Yeah.
Hill's perspective seems to focus primarily on men. So it's worth considering how these concepts might manifest differently in women's lives.
For sure. It makes you think like maybe our 40s and beyond could be a time of even more potential.
Yeah, exactly.
As we gain experience and learn to manage our energies better.
Absolutely. And that actually brings us to another interesting concept that the video talks about, the idea of the sixth sense.
Okay.
And how this can be unlocked through sex transmutation.
You know, I have to be honest, when I first heard about this, I was very skeptical.
Yeah, I get it.
What is this sixth sense?
So the video describes it as like this heightened mental state that connects us to a source of infinite intelligence.
Okay.
Now, I know that sounds kind of mystical, but if you think about it, it could also be tapping into your intuition and creativity, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe instead of thinking of it as this supernatural thing,
Right.
we can think of it as like a state of flow,
Exactly.
where we're more receptive to creative insights.
Yes, exactly like that.
Okay.
Like, think about those moments when you're completely absorbed in something and the ideas just flow.
Yeah.
Could that be a manifestation of this so-called sixth sense?
Yeah, that's a good point.
The video seems to suggest that harnessing this energy, redirecting this energy, can help you access these states more easily.
Interesting. And it actually, they used this story about Dr. Elmer Gates, who had this very specific method to tap into this.
Oh, yeah.
And he got over 200 patents.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Gates's method, while it was definitely unconventional, involved sensory deprivation and focused visualization.
Interesting.
So maybe not all of us are going to adopt these exact methods.
Right.
But I think his story raises this question. Are there, other practices, more modern practices like mindfulness or meditation that could help us tap into similar states?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there are more accessible ways to achieve the same results. Now, this video doesn't just focus on individual achievement.
Right.
It really emphasizes the role of love
Yes, absolutely.
in this whole equation.
It argues that love plays this crucial role in like balancing and directing this powerful energy. And it suggests that while sex alone can be, kind of chaotic, even destructive, love can bring purpose and direction.
So it's not just about redirecting the energy.
Right.
It's about having like the emotional foundation to channel it effectively.
Exactly. Think about how our relationships affect our drive and ambition. Do they inspire and motivate us, or do they drain our energy?
For sure.
The video suggests that understanding the interplay of all of this, love, sex, and ambition, it's key to unlocking our potential.
And this is where it gets really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because he says that ignoring these dynamics can actually lead to consequences.
Yeah, penalties and missed opportunities. Exactly.
So it's not just about maximizing your potential.
Right.
It's about avoiding potential pitfalls.
That's right.
And I think it's just really thought-provoking how this challenges our conventional thinking about sexuality.
Yeah, for sure.
We often view it just through this lens of pleasure or procreation, but Hill's suggesting it's this potent force that we can use for growth.
Right. It really flips the script.
Yeah, it really
does. And it raises a lot of questions about how we can better understand this and manage this force within ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really is interesting how it makes you think about sexuality differently. Not just as like this personal drive, but something that affects so much more.
Right, and the video talks a lot about that.
Yeah.
Especially how it plays out in relationships, specifically romantic relationships.
Yeah, and how it connects to this thing Hill calls the eternal triangle of achievement.
Okay, the eternal triangle.
So it's not just about redirecting sexual energy like we were talking about before.
Right.
Hill says love is like a balancing force.
Okay.
And then romance kind of infuses it with inspiration and purpose.
So they all work together.
Yeah, exactly.
So like love provides stability.
Yeah, like the stability and direction to channel it.
Okay.
Then you have romance that sparks that creative fire and that pushes you to achieve things.
Okay, I see. So when you combine all that with sexual energy,
then you get a very potent combination.
Wow.
According to Hill, at least.
Makes sense. And he even says that marriages that don't have this balance, they're less likely to be happy.
Yeah, that's a bold statement for sure.
It is.
But it makes you think.
It does.
About your own relationships.
Yeah.
If you see that in your own relationships.
Yeah. Do you think that a deeper understanding of all of this contributes to stronger relationships?
That's a good question.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
And then the video also talks about what happens if you don't understand all of this.
Yeah, all the potential downsides.
Right. Like he has all these warnings about like consequences.
Exactly. So he argues that if you ignore all this, it can lead to all sorts of negative outcomes.
Okay, so like what kinds of things?
He suggests that like overindulging in sex, when you don't have the love and purpose, it can really deplete your energy.
Huh, interesting.
And prevent personal growth.
So it's about finding a balance.
Yeah, like you don't have to totally suppress it.
Right.
But you have to know how to channel it.
That makes sense.
He uses the analogy of overindulging in anything.
Okay.
Like eating or drinking too much.
Right, I get it.
It can be bad for you.
For sure.
It's funny how we always talk about moderation in so many areas of life.
Yeah. Diet, exercise, but not really when it comes to sex.
Exactly. But Hill says that this is really important to understand.
Okay.
Especially for men as they get older.
Okay. Why men specifically?
He thinks it can really affect their energy levels and creativity and their overall well-being.
So it's like there's a natural shift as we age.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we need to be more mindful of our energy.
Yeah, and remember how he said that a lot of men don't find success until after 40?
Right.
Maybe it's because they figured this out.
That's an interesting thought.
It really makes you think, is there something similar for women?
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Even though he doesn't talk about it as much.
Yeah, so he focuses a lot on men.
Right.
But I wonder if there are parallels with women.
It would be fascinating to explore that.
Totally. Now, the video also talks about how you can tell if someone's just driven by sexual desire or by a combination of love and sex.
Oh, tell me more.
Just by looking at their face.
Oh, wow. So we're getting into physiognomy now.
Right.
Yeah, the study of facial features.
Okay.
Hill says that love softens your features, while lust makes them harder.
So our emotions can physically change how we look.
That's what he's suggesting.
That's wild.
I know. It's a fascinating concept.
It is. Think about it. We associate kindness with certain features.
Right.
Like softer features.
Right.
And coldness with harsher features.
Exactly. It's like our inner world can show up in our appearance.
Wow.
At least according to Hill.
Makes you think.
It does.
Now, he also talks about the lasting impact of love.
Oh, yeah.
Even after a relationship is over.
It's interesting because he says love leaves an indelible mark on you. Okay. And it stays with you long after the relationship is done.
So it's not just about present love.
Right.
It's about how past relationships can still affect us.
Exactly.
Huh. That's really powerful.
And you know what else?
Right.
He actually encourages people to think about their past relationships.
Okay.
Not to dwell on the negative stuff, but to find those positive emotions and use that to fuel their creative energy.
So like turn heartbreak into inspiration?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
It's very empowering.
It is.
Now, he does say there are different types of love, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like love for family, love for friends.
Yeah.
And romantic love.
Right. And he says they're all important.
Yeah.
But romantic love is the most intense.
Oh, wow.
He says it's the most powerful and transformative.
Huh. And he even connects it to a higher power.
Yeah. Infinite intelligence, he calls it.
So for him, romantic love combined with this understanding of sex, it can like unlock our potential.
Yeah, that's his idea.
It makes you think about love and sex very differently.
It really does.
It's more than just pleasure.
Right.
It's more than just procreation.
Yeah.
It can actually be this powerful force in our lives.
Yeah, that's what Hill is trying to tell us.
It really is interesting.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
It does.
If there's so much more to this than we realize.
Absolutely. This deep dive has been amazing.
It has.
So many thought-provoking ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
What's been standing out to you? It's really amazing, you know?
Yeah.
All of this, it's like a whole different way of looking at things.
It is. And he's not just saying this could be beneficial. He's like warning us.
Right. Right.
You know, like, hey, if you ignore this,
there would be consequences.
Yeah, you'll miss out.
It's almost like a call to action. You know? Like we need to pay attention to this
Yeah,
stuff.
we can't just ignore it.
Especially if we want to, you know, really live a good life.
Absolutely.
It's almost revolutionary because we're always told to, you know, push these feelings down.
Yeah, right. Suppress them.
Exactly.
Like they're bad or something.
Yeah.
But he's saying, no, these are part of us.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
And one thing that really stuck with me.
What's that?
Was the point he made about how, you know, every love experience is different.
Oh, yeah.
Like it affects us in different ways.
True.
It's so individual.
Every relationship leaves a mark on you.
It does. It's like that analogy he used.
Yeah.
Comparing love to a fire.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
Like it burns bright.
And even when it's gone, you still see the impact.
Right. Exactly.
It changes the landscape.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, even if a relationship ends, he's saying we can still take something positive from that.
Yeah. Those positive emotions.
Right. Use it as fuel, you know.
To create something new.
Yeah. It's like he's saying even heartbreak can be a source of inspiration.
Exactly. You don't have to just dwell on the negative. You can use it to move forward.
It's all about how we choose to see it.
It is. It's about taking back your power.
Absolutely.
So after this whole deep dive, what are you thinking?
I think the biggest takeaway is just like becoming more aware.
Yeah, all these forces.
Of how we feel, how those feelings affect our actions, you know, our entire life, basically.
How love and passion and desire, all of that affects us.
It's not about being afraid of our feelings. It's about realizing they can be powerful.
And useful. It's like we have this whole untapped resource.
Right. I know. I'm looking at things differently now.
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
That's awesome.
I went into this with a lot of skepticism, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But now, I don't know, it's like a whole new world has opened up.
That's how I feel about all these deep dives, you know?
Us too.
They make you think differently.
Yeah, you got to be open to new ideas.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe this could be the start of something new for our listeners too.
Yeah, maybe a whole new chapter.
Exactly.
So to everyone listening, as you go about your day today, think about this. How are your experiences with love and romance?
And sex.
Yeah, all of it. How is it shaping your path?
That's a great question to think about.
I think so too.
It's a journey for all of us figuring this out.
It is. And this is just the start, really.
Yeah, there's always more to explore.
Absolutely. So until next time, everyone.
Keep an open mind.
Keep diving deep.